Nigerian intellectual guru who graduated from the University of Ibadan with MBBS degree in 1970. He got married to a Gambian classmate, late Dr. Mbaye Faal. She proceeded to the Royal College of Surgeons, Edinburgh, where she bagged her fellowship in 1976. Where vision met the mind, the eye was the focus. She had clear vision and sharpened her skills in ophthalmology at the Royal College of Ophthalmology, United Kingdom. She bagged her diploma in ophthalmology and subsequently became a fellow of both the West African College of Surgeons and the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. She worked at the University of Benin, Teaching Hospital from 1976 to 1980 as Lecturer 1, Senior Lecturer, and Consultant Ophthalmologist. She helped to build the residency program in ophthalmology in that university, as well as the ophthalmic nursing course. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, her husband, a Gambian, was an obstetrician and gynecologist. He took his darling wife to the Gambia in 1980, where she found herself as the sole ophthalmologist serving a population of 800,000. The problems were many and varied. The task was daunting. But her mantra that problems were meant to be solved gave her the drive for solutions. She went to the Institute of Ophthalmology, London, where she trained and obtained a diploma in community eye health in 1985. On her return to the Gambia, she conceptualized a 10-year biennial-based countrywide program extending from home, community, primary, secondary to tertiary level comprehensive integrated national eye care program with the commitment of the Gambia Ministry of Health. This program got the commitment of the Gambian government, the World Health Organization, International Center for Community Eye Health, London, as well as the Gambia Medical Research Council and non-governmental organizations. This program ensured that every Gambian within 5 to 30 kilometers of a health facility got primary eye health education and service. It reduced the prevalence of trachomatous blindness from 17% to 5% within a decade of its implementation. Our effort translated globally into the Vision 2020, the Right to See initiative by partnership between the World Health Organization and the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness. The Vice Chancellor, our Sponsio lecturer, is an adjunct professor of international eye health, University of Calabar, and consultant ophthalmologist at the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital. She is the chairman of Cancer Advisory Board of the University of initiating and then stepping out of several IAPB working groups. Currently, as a researcher, she co-chairs the Africa Vision Research Institute, active in the ICEH Links and Network Program, champions research in the Global South, and the Global South, urging the change of the narrative of the low and medium income countries. Currently in semi-retirement, she still finds time to dedicate herself through various roles: trustees of boards in Nigeria and the UK, CBM Nigeria, Morpheus Collabo Trust, Vision Action, Sickle Cell Retinopathy Network, Cataract Development Group of the World Health Organization Global Eye Health Research Agenda, initiative, etc., etc., etc. She is a recipient of several awards, including the Order of the Republic of the Gambia in 2005, IAPB Vision Excellence Award, the Africa Ophthalmology Council Icon Award, and the Honorary Fellowship of the Royal College of Ophthalmology, which she holds very close to her heart. Our Sponsio lecturer has a strong belief in mentorship, passing the baton and nurturing younger colleagues with a partiality to females to become leaders wherever they find their feet, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm sure Professor Ibana will be one of our mentees. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Sponsio lecturer, Professor Anabasi Faal. She is UNICAL's #1 academic female, an internationally renowned and accomplished ophthalmologist, a researcher, and a Christian and a woman heart of God. Thank you.
Pueda, bien, lo de yo, yo digo, si no, It's not much. But you say, I like you. Because I your house, so you sound like that.
That's weird. I like to do like that.
You need door because now you see that. But the picture,
Come on.
you still see for my camera, every person face will shine. But for conference, there are some places with black, some places. Right. For what put you? For what put you? No, don't need. Don't need my money. For AI, go put you. In your hand. Now I don't know if you be very tight or put it in how I hit it chop. No, let me look. Oh, Robert. Oh, now that kind of thing now. That's no interlude. That's no interlude. Don't be shy one. Oh, now later we go play all the celebrate the students.
Good afternoon. I think I'll probably, as I usually do, start with the youngest and the least. I welcome and thank all the members of the public who are here. I thank the graduating new doctors. I thank the teachers who work so hard to produce this set of doctors. And I also thank the University of Calabar for the honor of inviting me to be their Sponsio lecturer. It is the very first Sponsio lecture that I will have to give. And I thank you for that honor. When I was requested to give this lecture, I was asked for the topic. So,
hello. Hello. I think we should call off the Sponsio because the noise is not too healthy for this segment. So please, I want to make an appeal. Can we please have one house? And can we have silence, absolute silence in the house, please, so that we can flow together, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your positive response.
thank you for that. I probably have to shout as well. What came to my mind was they asked me for the topic, and I think what promptly came to me was the term quo vadis. It's a Latin term, and it means, where are you going? Whither goest thou? And the story behind that is that St. Peter was going to Rome, and he had a vision. And the Lord came to him and said, where are you going? Where goest thou? And he said, I am going to be crucified. And many of you may not think that being a doctor is being crucified. But a lot of you will find out that as you go along, many times you will be crucified. And you will do it willingly and happily because you took that oath today. So remember, when it happens, quo vadis. Where are you going? That's the topic I chose. I'll try to summarize what I'm going to say, and it's all on the slide. And because of time, I won't go through it because I'll be taking each topic as I go along. Now, a lot of you will recognize this picture because you're all in that mood. I'm sure when you all go out, you'll want to take such photographs to keep. So let me say, I don't do protocol very well, I confess. So I shall just say all protocol observed. So my opening remarks will focus on those three. The award you're getting today, congratulations to all that need it, and sharing my memories with you. In my days, the award was a scroll. You had to roll it up and tie it with a ribbon. And it was an award. It's the degree you write after your names from now on, MBBS, CHP. It's very important. And the scroll or the certificates you're getting today. As you get older, you may forget it. I advise you that it'll become important. So please make sure it's well preserved. You have copies because from now on, you'll be having to provide that certificate as evidence as you go along. But when the degree is awarded, I'm speaking to our elders now, the degree is awarded for learning and character. So do we really have a system to deal with character or assess or truly award for character? Should we do that? That's my question that we may want to ponder about. I've spoken about character in certificates, and many people have told me we don't have a way of assessing it. And I would throw this as a challenge to the University of Calabar. You might be the first to want to do that. How do you teach it? How do you transmit it? And how do you certify it? So that when you are giving that degree and saying it's for learning and character, you have a way of saying that you have really attended to character. So University of Calabar, my first challenge to you. I next would like to congratulate everyone who took a part in today's celebration. I want to thank the students. I've been down that road and I know what the work is. I know the sweat, I know the suffering, I know. So congratulations to all our new doctors, our new MD-CHPs. I want to congratulate the families who spent so much prayers, time, money, and so on. Congratulate the University of Calabar. And for all of you, today we are celebrating the doctors. But don't forget all the other members of the allied health team, from the cleaner in the ward, to the nurse, to the sister who taught you as you came along as a young person. Don't forget that they are part of this celebration as you go back. Congratulate the society in Nigeria and congratulate the Medical and Dental Council for all the work they have done so far to try and bring it to the quality and the highest global standard that it is. The current registrar of the Medical and Dental Council is one of my favorite mentees. So congratulations to her as well. Sharing with you my memories, and it's already been announced. 55 years ago, I was as thin as you are, the young ladies, very slim, I was tired, completely exhausted after the training. I was relieved that I had finished. Not so much because I had the certificate, but just, oh my goodness, it's all done. And I've got to the end of the road. I was really, and then I was full of pride. How many people are very, very proud? In the very first few days, we're all walking around with our white coats, with our stethoscope around. Have you noticed that I'm a doctor? I'm now a doctor. Then as you started your first house job, reality hits you because you get to the work and you don't know your right from your left. You had to go to the sister. Sister, what should I do here? And that's the life, that's the beginning. Those are the memories that you get at the beginning of being a doctor. But let me get to the topic of the lecture, which is the reason. What is the reason for doing what you did? What's the reason? What's the reason for being a doctor? Have you asked yourself that question? What's your reason for being a doctor? Because if you don't get it clear in your head and in your heart why you're doing it, you may falter as you go along. So I want to share with you over my 55-year career the 3 very powerful events that have taken place in health. It brought health out of the clinical into the global. And the first change that happened was as early as 2005, when health was implanted and recognized the health system blocks. That is not just the service you give or the human beings you train, but all the other systems, the other members of the team, the building, the technology, the finance, the leadership, the governance. If they don't work, the doctor cannot provide the best. 2005, that change took place in the health system's building blocks. The next one that happened was in 2012, and the very last one was in 2016. The very last one of the reason for being a doctor has to do with when we moved health out of the coverage of the person to the coverage of a population. The universal health coverage was passed in 2012, and that was also done by the WHO Director General. The most recent reason for being a doctor, the change that happened in health, was the Sustainability Development Goals that were passed in 2016. That took health out of population coverage and showed that health cannot stand on its own. Health is part of development. So if the Sustainability Development Goals, each one, health has to contribute to it and also benefit from it. If you don't have good quality education, can you give good health? No. If the climate change has destroyed the country, can you provide health? You can work for 24 hours and that will not happen. So those 3 events are the most important thing that have happened to health. And I can imagine that in a few years, another change will also happen to keep health in line with developments. What's your next reason for being a doctor? It's been mentioned already, it's your patients. If there are no patients, there are no doctors. If everybody is completely healthy, when you're healthy, you still need a doctor to keep you healthy. But the patient is your reason for being a doctor. I would like to say that you start your journal. Each one of you young doctors, start a journal. Journal is like a diary, a notebook, in which you write daily what your experiences have been, what you have learned, and what change you are going to make. It's extremely important. Document your personal feelings about being a doctor. When I come round next year, any doctor I'll see, I'll ask him for his journal. Because when I give instructions, I expect them to be carried out. One of my mentee sons is laughing because he has experienced that. So let me suggest that the most important reason for being a doctor, as I said again, is the patient. Now, how many people are familiar with this slide? What is it saying to you? I wouldn't waste time. It's showing feet walking to where you are sitting behind that closed door as the doctor, isn't it? And then you scribble something, talk to them for 2 or 5 minutes, scribble something, tear it and give it back to them. Am I right? And then they walk out with that. Now, before they came to you, and after they have left you, who is the health provider? Is it you? No. It's the patient himself and his family. So engage your minds to know, be concerned with before the patient comes to you and after the patient has walked out of you. Because if you're not, the 5 or 10 minutes you have spent will be a waste. Because I can't even read what they are writing. Where am I going to get money to buy this? Where am I going to get to buy this? So see it as an investment to be interested in whether that paper you've scribbled and given to them will be implemented or not. That's your reason for being a doctor. My next picture, that's me trying to draw. You can see my medical education didn't extend to drawing. What you're seeing is a pipe, if you could believe it. Those little scribbles are the leaks from that pipe. The exit is where the patient is going to afterwards. So those pipes represent the leak in the health system. And research papers have been published. And I would challenge you, the new doctors, to do the research, to get the evidence to show where your leaks are. When the patient leaves you, where do they leak out of the system? Do they leak as soon as they've left you? Do they leak later? Where do they go to when they leak? Is it to the traditional practitioner? Is it to the corner store? Is it to the churches? Because all the places where they leak to will affect your work. You will not achieve as much as you do if you do not engage with or know where those leaks are, why the leaks exist, and if they're for the worse, how you can make them better. I stand here from my experience in the Gambia and thereafter to please prioritize your last mile patients. You can see them in that photograph. A lot of us in our rural areas, even in our urban slums, we're all familiar with the poverty. We are familiar with the people. So there are 2 P's that are extremely important. I've mentioned one, the patient. The second P is your population. The patient who is right in front of you is the one we have been trained to look after and give our best. But what of the population? What of the population they go back to? So remember that the population is also your patient. The population is also your responsibility. And remember, too, that it's not just in the rural areas you find poverty. It's also in the urban slums. Don't forget the disabled as well. They are still your patients. Don't forget the underserved. They are still your patients. Don't forget the underprivileged. They make up the majority of your population. So you can never be a doctor if you are not a doctor of the patients and a doctor of the population. Take it seriously because you'll be challenged by it. I've talked about the poor, but don't forget the affluents. They are just as important. They may have the money, they may jump out for treatment abroad, they may live in big houses, drive big cars, pay you a lot of money, but your oath tells you to treat them equally. Treat them equally. They may have diseases of affluence because affluence does make them more prone to some diseases. And I also learned over time that some populations are in captive groups. If you capture them, you can deliver to them. And who are the captive groups? The captive groups are the group of people who share a common location or ideas, the security forces, the prisoners, the market group women, and so on. You can research to the new doctors, who are your captive groups in your population? Why are they important? Because if you have a captive group and you want to implement an intervention, it's much easier. So if you set up a system where you screen a captive group, you can prevent a lot of conditions. I have proposed that anybody who employs the university teaching hospital, puts a policy in place for its members of staff to have a list of conditions that should be screened to prevent this hypertension, prostate enlargement, vision problems, ear problems. Screen them because it is more effective and cheaper to screen and treat. The patients may say, I am very well, I have no problem, I don't want to be screened. But as doctors, you know all the conditions that people may have and have no signs and have no symptoms, but if they are screened and picked up early, it's better and cheaper for the patients as well as the people they work for, their employees. Oh, this is my very favorite slide. I'm sure my mentees and everybody who has had anything to do with me has seen it many times. The patients as well as our interventions. That most people, all of us sitting here, we are probably sitting at the top of the slope. We are normal. We think we are normal. But when something starts, we begin to slide down the slope. If it's very early, no symptoms, we spend just a little money. As it gets more serious, we spend a bit more money. And it gets very, very serious. We go down, we want to go to the teaching hospital where you will get the most, but you would have had all the complications by that stage. And why is that happening? Because the slope has failed. to identify early and to prevent early. So look at the slope and make sure that if you're at the quaternary level, you are not busy clearing the mess because the slope failed above you. Because if you may be a very special, highly trained person dealing with the complications, having the best technology, but why are you busy with complications when you could have been part of making sure that that patient never came back to you? My next one is, I've mentioned it before, and it's something I hold very, very close. I want to share with the new ones, the new doctors. You are a doctor, but you are a member of a team. You cannot do anything by yourself. I know that in this country, because I've worked in so many places, in this country, we surround ourselves by our degrees. We surround ourselves by our height. But no one of us, even at the highest height, can achieve anything if the members of your team do not work with you. So one of the challenges of a doctor is to know your team, develop your team, and have the humility to recognize the importance of the other members of the team. The second level of the team is what I call vertical team. If you're at the tertiary level, the secondary level is still your team, the primary level is still your team. So the patient is at the center, and you must build your team, lead a team, respect your team, appreciate and get the best out of each member of the team for each of your patients. If not, my dear girls and boys, or men and women, you won't go far. You will be known for what you can do, but who will you affect? What size of population will you affect? So do you know your future? It's very important that you may not know your future, but you plan for your future. Back to the future is man to man, human to human. But as I said, health has moved into development. So make sure that whatever health you practice is part of development. Find out what the sustainability development goals are and find out what your work fits into and gains out of that. And all of you, are you Gen Z? Are you all Gen Z? Yes, you're all Gen Z. So look into the future. Gen Z is moving very fast. Technology is moving very fast. You cannot be a doctor without knowing how the technology is changing, how it is affecting your work, how you can use technology to improve what you do. AI is coming. Have you all engaged with AI? Do you know how it's going to affect the way you work? Do you know what technology can now be used in the village to make diagnosis and you stay in the center and treat it? That's your future, Gen Z. Engage with your Gen Z. But to do that, my dear friends, you need to look after yourself. Somebody has said that already. So physical excellence, number one, look after your emotional excellence, your spiritual excellence, very important, your social excellence, and your financial excellence. You can see that financial excellence came at the bottom. It's the very last. Don't make the mistake of putting your financial excellence as your number one. Make it your number last. Because if all the others above it are correct, the financial automatically follows. I now turn to our elders, the producers of tomorrow's doctors, the Medical and Dental Council, the Nigerian Medical Association, UNICAL, UCTH. Where are you going? What's your own poor VADIS? How are you engaging what's happening right in front of you and what's happening in the future? You have to march leg by leg, foot by foot with the future. You make changes to your policy, to your I switch back to the young ones. You are the products, this side of the room. You are the producers, the other side of the room. I travel a lot, I read, a lot of you read as well. And I'm putting the map of Nigeria and Africa up. Anywhere you read, the highest percentage of the worst occurs in LMIC. Nigeria has the highest mortality rate, the worst infant mortality rate, the worst maternal, you are associated with that kind of adjective. It is time to change the narrative. Please, it is time to change the narrative. We should not be the worst. We should not be the highest. We have the best doctors. We have the right resources. Let our indices of health change. That is you. You are the ones who change the narrative. You are young, me, I'm out. But you must, I throw that baton to you. Change the narrative. Change the narrative of Nigeria and change the narrative of Africa, of sub-Saharan Africa, of the Black race. And the way you can do it, the way I did it, was to invert the pyramid. Not to be a triangle where you are at the top and oppressing the rest, but to be at the bottom to support the rest. The community and not to boast, not to oppress, but to support the rest of the health system. It is the supporting pillar. Please don't say cleaning up the mess of the failed system. Change the narrative to be the supporting pillar of the rest of the health system. So my young ladies and gentlemen, what's my wish for you? What do I wish for you? I'm almost I want you all to be 7-star doctors, not just 7-star doctors, but 7-star plus, 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 plus. Don't forget, 7-star plus, 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 plus. And 7-star is WHO description of the doctor. You are a care provider, you know that. Am I lying? You are a decision maker, yes? You are a communicator. If you don't have the skills for communication, develop them. You are a community leader. If you don't practice as such, make sure you do. You are a manager of resources, of human beings. You are a researcher, and you are a lifelong learner. Why is research so important? You can do anything you like, but if you do not provide the evidence, nobody takes you seriously. You have no proof. So research is part and parcel. In fact, you cannot do without doing research. You cannot say I'm the best or this hospital is the best if you don't have the evidence, or this disease is caused by this, or these are the risk factors if there's no evidence. So research is like the breath of work of your life. Now, what is the plus, plus, plus? Now, the plus, plus, plus for health, I wish you all, my wish for you is that you always also be entrepreneurs. Am I getting any clap for that? I think you should also be cutting edge technologies. You should know what is the cutting edge in technology for your population. I don't mean cutting edge for Estonia or Russia. I mean cutting edge for who? You should also be a climate change devotee. Know what climate change is doing to your country, to your hospital. If you don't know, you wouldn't know why the light goes off, where there's petrol, why all the trees were cut, why there is no clean water. All that is climate change. It seems far away, but it affects your daily work and your daily life. So you should be part of climate change advocates, changes in your hospital, and so on. And be business experts. It's not wrong to do business as a doctor. You should be business expert. Now, the business expert there is not to make profit, but to see what is business doing to health. What is business doing to health? That person who could not come early to you, why? What is the cost? Why is the cost of care so expensive? Did the businessman putting too much for advertising his drugs or putting too much for packaging the drug? You should sit with the businessman to say, what you give me to use for my patient, give to my patient. My patient should be able to pay for it. Don't be satisfied as doctors to let business people say, I will pay for your conference. I will pay for you to go to Estonia to attend the conference. That is treating you cheap. Because they think they can sell your products very expensive to you. You will prescribe it. They make the money and you cannot treat your patients. So be part of the business. Let them sit at the table with you and take responsibility for health as well as disease and what it does and the cost of the technology and the drugs. Social media experts, you're all experts. I don't even need to say that. All of you are social media experts. So use social media for health. Social media for your profession. Positive things, not yemen. You can do the yemen, the entertainment things, but it is a very powerful tool for your profession. So that's your plus, plus, plus. So make sure you become experts in that as well. So, end of story. Thank you. God bless.
Nice